Elijah, I need Luke in that room in 5 minutes. Welcome, 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 welcome. How you guys doing? Hey, so I am. We're gonna get going. Thank you guys for being on time. We won't keep you here too long. Just to give you a heads up, I would like to. We're gonna go for wait about another 1.5 minutes, and then we're gonna get going. So appreciate you guys being here. So how this is gonna work? Actually, if you can, I just want to make sure everything is good. Give me a quick thumbs up or something in the chat to let me know you can hear me okay. Can everybody hear me okay? Got it. Okay, good. All right. Um, here we go. So in 1 second, we'll get you going. And today we are going to talk about, we're going to learn how to book more people. We're going to learn how to get more folks in this wedding industry. So here for the first few minutes, it takes a little bit to get folks in because people are coming in, and so I got to admit them. So if you kind of catch me going off guard or looking to the side, that's just what I'm doing. All right, so learning how to book more customers or learning how to book and make more money with weddings is exactly what we are getting ready to do here right now. Again, I'll be going. You guys will be muted. I'm going to take questions at the end, but I want to try to keep this to a quick 30 minutes. So just take questions. If you got something that's burning and you got a burning question, then go ahead, leave it in the chat, and I'll make sure to get to it. So once we get done with this here in the next 30 minutes or so, then I'll be available to answer any questions that you guys might have. All right, so starting off, let's get right to it. One disadvantage also, just to give you a heads up, to the left is my notes. So if you see me looking to the left a little bit, that's just me trying to keep on track. All right, so one disadvantage about catering, which I don't, or not necessarily catering, but the event industry, is that we can't go and force events. We can't go and get money. We can't go and do things necessary to be able to close the deal. What we have to do, or what we need to make sure we do, is just be prepared when they do come. Because here's the thing. You know people who are getting married. You know folks who are having an event, who are having special events, but how often do people get married that you know? How often do people have birthdays that you know who are also want catering? So when the idea of going to get more weddings or going to get more events is basically, you can't go hunting. You have to be a supreme fisherman. You have to be in a place to be established to where you can cast your reel in a couple of different areas. That way you have the best reel, you have the best bait, you have the best things that when you do, and when you go and find yourself in those areas where your customers are, where your brides are, where your high profile clients are, then you are able to hook, line, and sinker. So hopefully what we get here from today is I'm going to give you the tools to be able to throw your casts out there and have the best bait. So first of all, what we want to do is, and then once you get the customer, now the next thing that separates the $1 million caterer or the 6-figure earner caterer or whatever it is, the folks that are going full time versus the ones that don't, is also, let me back up. The ones that separate the $100,000 caterer to the $500,000 caterer, or the 500 to the $1 million, is the simple things that a lot of us just don't do all the time. And then oftentimes, I know coming from this industry or starting off, a lot of times it's just us, right? We can't necessarily afford someone to answer the phone for us all the time. We can't afford to do these things. And so what I'm telling you here is that these are the things that you're going to need to do to be able to afford, because unless you expand your pot, you'll never grow. Sometimes you're going to have to take a little bit of step back. Number one is you have to make sure that, I've said this 1,000 times, but you got to be searchable. You have to be searchable. Your online presence isn't your social media. Now, your social media is where your customers are going to come once they become your customers, or they're going to, once they're looking at you and they're researching you a bit, right? Then they go and they find your social media and they look and they see kind of what you do, especially with, if we're talking about just weddings right now, then especially with brides, because the average age of a bride right now is what, 23 to 28, and they're online and they're searching. But when they go searching, guys, they're not going to Instagram to find a caterer. They're not going to TikTok to find a caterer. They're going to Google. So you have to make sure that your website is intact, that is easy to manage, and is easy to function from there. And most importantly, it has to be searchable, right? And so I know sometimes it's hard to do that, but go on YouTube, figure out a way to go to Wix, go to wherever you need to go to build a website to make sure that you are set up. And then if you're not sure what to do, find a restaurant that offers the same type of food that you offer, and then copy their website. For example, I kind of catered our website towards Longhorn Steakhouse and STK. You know what I mean? Because people go to restaurants way more often than they get catering. So make sure that you have your website up, it's searchable, and it's ready to go. There's no excuses. I mean, there is excuse. If you want to make excuse to not have a website, not have it functional, not have things available, then you're not going to be able to book as many weddings and as many high-end events, because that's where they're going to find you. It's like having your store, right? If you want to have your store out and available, you got to build a store. But people are shopping online more now than ever. Malls are closing left and right. So you got to have it. Now, once you have your website up and going, make sure you have pictures of, make sure you obviously have pictures of food, right? But realize that these customers who are your high-end customers, who are your high-end customers, who are your brides and grooms, they want to see, how are you going to look when you come to my wedding? Obviously, they can see food. They can go to your menu and see a bunch of stuff. So as you guys are continuing to post pictures, great, but everybody's posting pictures. When I first got started, I lost, unfortunately, a couple deals because that's all I had was pictures. They want to know, what are you going to look like when I hire you for my event? What is your setup going to look like? So on your social media, guys, start turning a little bit, and especially on your website, have a picture page of what your events look like when you get your event. Have a page of what your setup looks like, because I promise you, that is what's important. You are not going to reach that six-figure level, that seven-figure level, just thinking that, well, I got good food and that's good enough. No, my auntie has good food. That don't mean that she's going to be a millionaire. It's a lot of people, it's a lot of restaurants that have great food, but they don't know how to get customers. All right. So as you're going there, as you get your website, make sure you post your pictures and pricing, guys, on your website. Post your pictures and pricing. These brides today are savvy, they're hip, they're quick, and they don't have a lot of patience to go and try to figure out what they got to do to be able to get a pricing. And when they go online to look for anything else, everything else has pricing. Why are you any different than the steakhouse around the corner? Why are you any different than any other restaurant that also has their pricing and menu online? You're not. And if you feel like you're that special, you're going to lose customers. Next, that's enough about the website. I want to keep this pushing. You got to have a website. You need pictures on there, and you need to make sure that it's easy, it's functional, it's not cheesy, but go to YouTube, figure it out. Find a way to figure it out. Go to a website called Fiverr. Save up $200. Have somebody build you a website if you don't have the time or you're completely non-tech savvy. Next thing that you need to do, you need to make sure that you have on your menu these, 6 items, because these are the top selling, the most ordered foods at any kind of wedding, at any kind of high-end event. I don't care what you offer. I don't care what kind of food that you offer. Make sure that you have some kind of beef roast, a tenderloin of some kind of roast, because it is the most ordered thing at weddings. You need to also have some kind of creamy or grilled chicken. You need to know how and learn how to cook sea bass and salmon that's not dry. Lamb chops, barbecue, and Italian food. These are your number one or your top ordered menu items that are going to come from your guests, from your customers, from your high-end customers. That's where you're going to have it. Now, here's the thing. A lot of us cook a decent amount of fried food. It's hard to transfer fried food. It really is. And so, have that on your menu. Excuse me. Have that on your menu. Do your thing, but it's hard to keep fried foods because you can't fry food. You can't fry something at 3 o'clock and then it still be good by 6 o'clock, because that's a lot of times when you're a caterer, that's how it works. You finish cooking unless you're cooking on site. Wicks and Squarespace are going to be the easiest sites that I found to build your website on. All right. And then as you're going, like I said, find a restaurant that looks like the type of food that you're doing that's successful in your area. If you do, upscale soul food, great. Find a soul food restaurant that's very successful. Make your site look somewhat along those lines, or tell the person building your site, this is what I want it to look like. All right. Learn SEO, learn how to do all of it. Next thing you got to do is you have to be, if you want to book more weddings, we need to be where the customers are. Period. We got to be where the customers are. Build your profile on Wedding Wire, The Knot, Zola, and Joy. Wedding Wire, The Knot, the K-N-O-T, Zola, Z-O-L-A, and Joy. These are websites that where brides, and Martha Stewart Weddings is also a big one. Could you repeat what we should have again, please, for the meals? Yes. For the meals. Okay, here we go. For the meals, guys, for your menu, you got to have these things on your menu. I don't care what you have. Some kind of beef roast, beef tenderloin, some kind to where you can go, it's there, you cook it on site, you cook it and you can slice it to order. Some kind of beef roast, beef tenderloin, along those lines. A chicken. Now, mainly chicken breast, that's going to be a creamy chicken breast or a grilled chicken breast. Now, almost always you want to have it creamy because chicken breast can dry out unless you're cooking it on site. Some kind of cream, chicken piccata, some kind of cream sauce, some kind of tomato sauce, something. Chicken marsala, something along those lines. These are the most ordered. Salmon, sea bass, lamb chops, barbecue, and Italian food. These are your most ordered items in the wedding industry. All right, now that you have your wedding, you have your profile on Wedding Wire. You've added pictures of everything that you do, of your menu, of you, of other people having a great time, checking your menu out. Other people having a great time at the events that you've done, right? Now what you need to do is go on there. There's a way that you can find customers. Find the venues that are there that are not attached to a resort or a hotel, because almost all venues attached to a resort or a hotel have their own in-house catering. Then what you do, find a way to get their email. The way to get their email, if you can Google them in your area. If they don't have their email online, they will almost always have a Facebook profile. If you go to their Facebook profile and you search about, it's required for them to have an email address on there for all venues. Find a venue, find 20 of them, and then format your email to something like this. Hi, my name is Chef Terry Matthews. I run a catering business 15 minutes away from your venue. I read your reviews and I went through all your pictures and I fell in love. I believe our menu could be perfect for your type of venue. What would it take to be a part of your preferred vendor list? I'll have all of these notes and I'll make sure to send it here to you afterwards. But basically you want to reach out to the venues and let them know that I'm a caterer. I'm in your area and I'm hungry to make it happen. Because what happens is the closer you are to that venue, the better it is for the venue, because, hey, they're only 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away. Unfortunately, a lot of caterers are late because we don't have time management. We'll get to that in a second. All right. So let them know that you think that it could be a perfect fit. Here's another thing, another pro tip. Do the same thing with wedding coordinators in your area. Wedding coordinators, for the most part, the brides, when they get ready to get married, they are reaching out to the venue probably first, because typically that's the biggest expense. And we can't set a date until we get a place to host the event at. Now, if it's a backyard or church or something like that, obviously a little flexible. Almost all the time, second is either the caterer or the wedding coordinator, because we are the next biggest expense. If they already have their type of venue, almost all the time, the caterer is the biggest expense, especially for larger venues. But then, then next, they have a coordinator. Go to Wedding Wire, go to the Knot, go to Google and find wedding coordinators near me. And then what I want you to do is go to their social media page and follow them and like a few of their posts. And then say, comment something really nice and good on one of their posts under their whatever they show. I don't care what it is. Say something nice. Hey, Miss Coordinator, great work. Da 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 da. Don't try to sell them. Don't be spammy. Don't be weird. Go to their posts, like 20 different wedding coordinators. Follow them, like their posts, be friends with them, and then eventually they'll start seeing your posts. And then guess what? When their bride goes and asks them, hey, who do you know that has good Italian food, good barbecue, good whatever it is? Hey, I follow this guy online. I followed this lady online, and they seem to do really good work. Because now you guys have had, and they sometimes don't even realize where they got it from. But you strategically went and you strategically found that that coordinator. All right. From there, these are all the things that you need to do once you get onto your profiles on the Wedding Wire and the Knot. All these people are there. Sometimes it's harder to find a list of 20 or 15 different coordinators. But if they're promoting themselves on Wedding Wire, on the Knot, on Zola, on Joy, then you know that they are active and they are ready to continue to try to make money and try to get business. Next, you got to have is a Google profile. Cast your reel to where your customers are looking for you. A Google profile and Yelp. I hate Yelp. Yelp is trash, but customers don't know that, right? And the reason why I say that they're trash is because unless you pay, they'll promote other businesses on your site, but whatever. Customers go to Yelp. Customers go to Yelp to find businesses. Customers go to Google. Everybody goes to Google. Obviously, if we don't know that Google is the largest search engine in the world, you're living in a third country. Fill out your profile on both of those sites completely. I'm talking about completely. Post pictures of all of them. And then what I want you to do, if you don't have it done already, you need 10, 15 different reviews. And maybe you haven't done 10 or 15 events yet, but you 10 or 15 people that probably have tasted your food. Tell them to go onto Wedding Wire and leave a freaking review, because think about the last time you purchased and you bought something online. Didn't you read the reviews? That's the same thing your bride is doing. They're looking online, they're finding you on Google, and they're reading your reviews. And so if you don't have any reviews, if they can't find you, that's why you're not getting the weddings that you think that you should get. My food is good. That's great. That's amazing. We're glad that your food is good, but that's not going to take you anywhere. I know plenty of caterers out there whose food sucks, and they make thousands weekly. They stay booked, and maybe the food doesn't even suck. It's just good enough. But they put on a good show. They have great service, and they have a ton of reviews. All right. You also need to have a Facebook business page. Facebook business page. And then once you get that, you need to join a minimum of 3 vendor groups, right? So just go to your Facebook. Once you fill out your profile intact, then go to your vendor groups, and then search vendors near me, wedding vendors in Atlanta, wedding vendors in Pennsylvania, whatever it is. And so make sure you do that to be able to participate in those groups, because they'll have thousands, literally thousands of people in those groups. A lot of brides, a lot of parents, a lot of people who write checks. And then you go and then they'll always post, hey, I'm looking for a caterer that does Mexican, that does barbecue, that does whatever. And is anybody available this weekend? Participate in the group. And then you'll become one in the know. You'll be one of the people that another DJ follows, that he'll come to you and be like, oh, here, they'll reach out to you. Hey, I seen that you post in a group. I got a bride that needs a caterer in a week. Are you available? Bam. These are the ways that you position yourself to be able to be found by your customer. Bridal expos. A lot of people are scared of bridal expos. A lot of you guys are scared of bridal expos because you end up spending a ton of money, and then you get there, you hand out all this food, And then you say, I didn't even book anybody at the bridal expo. That is not the point of the bridal show. The bridal show isn't there to go and book catering. Excuse me, isn't the bridal show isn't there for you to go and book customers. If you do, it's a plus, great. But this is a place that your customer can go to see what your setup looks like. Don't do a bridal show unless you can afford it. Until you can afford to be able to get the big booth and hand out packaging, don't do it. But if you do it and you do it right, you'll get money. I promise you. Here's the way to do it right. You go to local bridal expos. You set up a booth that looks immaculate, that looks exactly the way that you would have it at someone else's wedding, right? Do me a favor, guys. If you still have the old school chafing dish, if you have any wire chafing dishes, throw them away. Okay? If you have any wire chafing dishes, save them for the family reunion and throw them away. Do not show up to anybody's wedding or high-end event with a wire chafing dish. Hopefully everybody has got that. If you don't, then sorry. Once you get to the bridal expo, you need to have some kind of food that you can have that represents your menu. And then as you get it, as it's representing your menu, hand those out in 2-ounce portions. Every person that comes to through your booth, have them come by. When they come, you collect the name and the cell phone number before they get a sample of only the bride. We don't care about the mom, and we don't care about anybody else. We don't care about the bride and the entourage. Get the information of the bride, and then they can get a sample, and then you invite them out. You let them know, hey, Jessica, I'm grabbing your information because we're having a tasting of our full menu in about a week, and I'd love to invite you out. Is it okay if I send you an invite? All I want to do is send you an invite. Sure. I'm not going to spam you. You get their name, and you get the cell phone, and they get a bite. And then you say, you and whoever else is also doing that. And then all of you have a list, because you're not there to feed the bridal show. You are there to get the names and phone numbers. You don't even necessarily want to talk to people who want to take you away to ask a whole bunch of questions. Do that as long as you have at least enough people to be there to cover you, because the idea is to leave the bridal show with your own list of names and numbers. Forget the list that they give you, because they're going to give you a list of a whole bunch of people. Of course, use that. But that's not what you're waiting for, because the second you get the list from the bridal show, so does everybody else. And as they're going to get spammed with a bunch of, hey, you came to our bridal expo, da, da, da. Okay, now that you got the names and phone numbers, go to a text message group, a group texting app, and then text these people and say, hey, Jessica, it's Terry from the bridal show. You ate our food. Seems like you like it. I would love to invite you out to our tasting next Thursday. And then to get the tasting, to get the tasting group, because you may not have room to do that, you find a venue before all of this. And you say, Mr. Venue, small time guy who can host at least 30 people, mom and pop spot. Hey, we're going to the bridal show. There's going to be 5,000 brides there. I'm going there to hand out samples, and we need a place to be able to host these people that'll come for a tasting. I'm going to have 15, 20 brides that'll come. Sit at your venue, and they're going to look around, open house. They can check out your venue. I don't need anything. All I need is space and opportunity. You say that to 3 people, three venues, 2 of them are going to say yes, because it's free press for them. And they don't have to come out of pocket nothing, but only open their doors. You may have to do it on a Sunday night or a Tuesday evening or something along those lines, but that's totally fine. Hold on one second. You're not the bridal show. You book from there at the bridal show. All right, let me move on. I'll be available to answer any questions. Once you get the customer and they send you an inquiry, or you talk to them, however long you talk to them, but you're able to get an inquiry, send 2 quotes. Send 2 quotes. If you have a bride that's getting your minimum package, Send the minimum package, send another quote that has a few extra bells and whistles. If they're getting something that's higher and they think that, man, I don't even think that they're going to be able to afford this, or maybe they can, I don't know. Great. Send what they asked for it, send something a little bit lower. Realize they probably got quotes from 6 other people. Also realize if they are reaching out to you and they ask you for pricing, that means they're interested. I too many times, I'm tired of just brides calling and these people just calling and asking questions. Realize if they call and asking questions, you made the short list of people that you made the short list of all the different other vendors that they found online. They went through 16 other people and they found you. Be happy. Send 2 quotes, because your 2 quotes is going to be 2 versus everybody else's 1. Send 2 quotes. Next thing here. Now, if you get, don't worry about locking in the big deal right now. Once you get it, book them. Bring them in. Even if you book the lower package, it's okay, because you can always upsell, or not even upsell. Let's not look at it as an upsell, because we are here for the customer. Understand that we are here for the customer. But the opportunity to offer more services will always be available at a later time. And so once they come in, make them comfortable. Once they are your customer, great, keep them as your customer. And then if they want to add a few extra things, maybe you reach out to them and say they only got 1 meat, but they had a half and half split of 2 different meats, like they had half chicken and half pork. Hey, Jessica, if you added a few more dollars, you could actually go and get both meats. Because if not, we may have to limit your customers. Excuse me, we may have to limit your guests to be able to choose either or. Nobody likes to hear that. If it's not within their budget, they won't be able to do it. Be happy you got a deal. If it's within their budget, they will find a way to make sure that we don't have to put restrictions on their customers. You can always go and then make additional opportunities to get more. It's not even necessarily about getting more money, guys. It's offering more services to your customer, because everybody wins when you can grill on site, when you can slice on site, because it's more things for the customer, and it's a win-win for both of us. So don't look at it as like some kind of pitchy, salesy type thing. This is just what top caterers are doing to be able to service their customer more. Realize that if I'm booking 150 weddings in a year, I'm serving 150 weddings a year. I'm not just cashing in and raking money. The thing is that because we offer a good quality, then the customers love it and they're willing to pay for it. Here are a few things that you can do to get more, offer more services, which gets you more money in your wedding after you get the wedding booked. Whatever kind of food you do, you can cook something on site. I don't care what it is, what you offer. Something can be cooked on site. If you're frying food, fry it on site. Get some kind of grill or get some kind of something to where you can offer after you book the deal. If they don't offer it, Ms. Jones, we'd love to, here's another thing that I think would make your menu a little bit better. If we actually grill the chicken on site, it'll be that much fresher. If we grill your asparagus on site, it'll be that much fresher. And then we got the ambiance, we got the smoke in the air, and your guests will love it. It'll be great. Oh, really? That sounds great. How much is it? An extra $250, an extra $200, right? What does $200 do for you today? Not a lot, right? Not a whole lot. But what happens when you can do that once a month? No, I'm sorry. What happens when you can do that at every event? Once you get to the point to where you're actually booking, let's say, one wedding or one corporate event every week, right? That $200 is now $246, $800 extra a month. Let's say you do another one, just for the sake of numbers, that's an extra $1,000 a month, which is an extra $12,000 a year. Are you going to say, hey, and on top of that, you created a better service, and you don't even have to worry about cooking your food and having it dry out. It's better for you. It's better for the customer. And it's even something that you don't have to do at your kitchen, that you can just take and do it on site. It's easier for you sometimes. It's a little bit more cumbersome, but it's better for you, better for the customer. Another thing that you can do, you can always offer additional staff. You can offer additional staff that will be there to stay after the event, right? Having additional staff stay there. Sometimes, if you pay your staff 20 bucks an hour, charge $35 an hour, 40 bucks an hour. You get a little bit extra money. Learn how to cut cakes. You can, sometimes you can, cake cutting can be, our cake cutting fee is, it's $150, an extra 150 bucks. Now check this out. At my wedding, now what happens when I go and I have 150 bucks for cake cutting, serving? On top of that, an extra something for the on-site grilling. That's an extra, what, 250, 350? Be the referral guy. Even if you don't have a place to offer different things, other people in the industry. If you don't, get to know them and then refer them out. Refer those other people out to if you know a DJ, refer the DJ. Work out something with the DJ. Hey, Mr. DJ, I got a customer who's wanting to move forward. I want to send them your way. What do you think about, an extra, $100 kickback? All you did was refer a guy. Same thing with party rental equipment. You don't have to have party rental equipment, but you can handle all the logistics for the customer, which is basically free, cost time. Handle all the logistics for the customer. Make sure you get a discount from the party rental place. Say, Mr. and Miss Party Rental Place, hey, I'm going to be doing this often. Can we have a 10% discount? Great. And then you tack another 10% on to the customer for the convenience. Now you just made 20% and you don't even do nothing. The party rental, they send it to the customer and then they pick it up and you haven't touched anything. All you did was run it. All you did was run the card. And you can even take it and run it separate if you don't want to run it on your own bill. You were just a referral guy. They got $1,000 in equipment from tables and chairs and linens, and you made 20% off of that. It's $200. You didn't do anything. But you did do something. You made it easier for the customer. And oftentimes, almost all the time, I know I am willing to pay for convenience. Next, invest in some rental equipment. Buy some chairs. That doesn't take up a lot of space. And anytime your customer wants something, hey, make sure they get your chairs that you have it. Also, another thing you can do almost all the time, customers have rehearsal dinners. And so at a rehearsal dinner, if you're doing the reception, the rehearsal dinner is something that you can also offer a completely different menu. Sometimes they don't even talk to you about it because they say, hey, I'm gonna just go with barbecue. We got barbecue for our wedding. We want to do Italian for the rehearsal dinner. Ms. Jones, we can do both. My kitchen is full of chefs. We can do rehearsal dinners. Also, we can do Italian food. We can do whatever it is. And so that way it's all one bill, makes it a lot easier for yourself. What else we got? Also, here's another thing. Get the bride and groom's work information. Now, once they become your customer, say, hey, wherever you work at, Miss Bride and Groom, why don't you go on and give me your work information and let us cater your company luncheon? Because now they're going to be your best friend. You go in, hey, boss, my wedding caterer, we just hired him. His food is great. We tasted it already, or we like him. We trust him enough to do our wedding. You should have him come in and do our next company luncheon. Easy. All you did was ask the bride. You have a cheerleader on your team vouching. What if that person, the bride, works at a call center with 300 people? It's just an ask. And now you got somebody that is on your team. Here's a couple ways. That's just a couple different ways that you can make extra money. Here's a couple things that we need to do to be able to close brides, grooms, to be able to speak with them. When you're dealing with the bride, make sure you shut up and listen. This bride, for the most part, has been looking at this wedding since she was 7 or 10 or whatever. So she's had all these things in her mind. Don't say no to anything that they offer. We find a way to work it out, or you find somebody who can work it out. We can also be lovingly firm in different ways that we approach, but then also make sure you congratulate that bride on the research that she's done. Make her feel comfortable. You take on the role as a consultant when dealing with brides. With grooms, you want to be more of a big brother role. Find something in common with that groom, because for the most part, if the groom likes your food and they like you, you're in. You're in. Even if they don't have an opportunity to taste your food, because we don't always do tastings, but if he likes you, you're in. but you always have to be the authoritative figure because you are with the parents. Make sure with the parents that you show concern, the same type of concern that you have with your that the parents have for their children. Okay, so the parents have for their children, hey, I want to make sure that they're good. I want to make sure that they're satisfied, that they have somebody professional. And so make sure that you speak to the parents and let them know that you have their kids back and you won't let anything happen to them and that everything is going to be smooth sailing on the day. They need to be comfortable in the fact that they're hiring you, because if there's a dad and mom, they're putting a lot of trust in you to make sure that their babies are satisfied. Coordinators. We talked about coordinators. There's no reason to go and try to sell coordinators because they're almost like the middle guy, just like us. With the coordinators, you just got to make sure that you know that you can be flexible because they are looking at you thinking, knowing that their behinds are on the line if they hire you. So we can be flexible. We can work out different things as much as necessary to be able to accommodate to the bride. These are things that a lot of folks, that a lot of you guys, that a lot of people don't do, guys, that all these little things are the things that is going to help you close more customers, close more brides. Excuse me 1 second. Next, make sure that you hire enough staff at your wedding so that you can interact with the guest. Once you get to the wedding, the bride, you're there. They've hired you. But then your company is also on display. If you're so busy doing all the things, you never have an opportunity to actually interact with the guests who are also other potential customers. Have enough people there, get there at least early enough to make sure that you can be there, that you can make sure that you can be there, and then that you can also do the things necessary to interact with the guest, interact with the customers or your other potential customers, because now you got 60 people who are watching your display. Somebody in that group is getting married. For the most part, birds of a feather, right? Rebecca got married. Her friend's getting married soon. You know how many events I didn't book just because, hey, Terry, you did our cousin's or my friend's wedding 6 years ago. We love your food, we love your service. Make sure that your staff is also there and that your staff is there and that your staff is talking to your customers. Make sure that you interact with your guests, guys, because these are all not just only potential guests, but it makes the event so much better. Don't go there and be snobs. Don't put your hands behind your back and stand there and looking like you are so uppity up and we're going to make sure everything is great. That's fine. We've already passed that, right? Get there early enough to make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Now it's time to enjoy the party. Not crazy, but enjoy the party, because the service, guys, is what we offer. The food is like third. The service, your display is number one and number two. And so once you're able to get those things down and you get those in your brain, more customers will come. And then when you're at that event and you have a person who comes up to you, because you will, if you guys do a bang up job, you guys will have people that'll come up to you and say, hey, we really like your service. How much does it cost? Great. Get that person's information right now. Ms. Jones, matter of fact, do me a favor. I'm gonna send you a text message with our website and our menu. Get their contact right now. Send them a card, because if not, you'll send them a card and they'll go and they're having drinks and they'll forget all about you. So as long as they don't forget about it, because they're done. Hey, maybe they'll call you back or maybe not, but if you have their contact information, you're gonna call them. Make friends with the venue owners. When you get to the site, when you get on site, whatever venue it is, unless it's somebody's backyard, find the venue owner, bring them a plate of food and say, Mrs. Venue Owner, Mr. Venue Owner, here you go. We appreciate you allowing us the opportunity to cater at this at your lovely establishment. We love it here. Here's a plate of food. And just in case you get interested, here's a couple cards. And by the way, if you enjoy the food, you know, hopefully we can talk about, maybe we can talk about having other things, you know, in the future. We're available. I love your venue. We're not too far away. Now, this is the hottest lead that you can get. If you get a wedding court, excuse me, if you get a venue who becomes your friend and they like your food and service, they will refer you always. I got a guy who can do whatever. And as long as you don't mess that up, you'll be that guy forever. And the best way to do that is when you're at that, I don't care if the venue owner is asleep, find them. If the venue owner is not there, now if they're not there, make a plate of food and put it in the refrigerator. Find who's ever there working the event to say, now, even if they don't eat it, just the gesture. Because remember, venue owners, they don't offer a product. They don't offer food. They're 100% service. So they'll see that additional service that you're offering. From there, when you get to the event, make sure you set out some cards. Set out cards, but set them by the condiments. Set them on the end. Set them out. Make sure they're nice and neat. Make sure that everything is together, and that if you see somebody grabbing a card, you go and meet them. Now, this is the way. These are the things that nothing I said so far necessarily was groundbreaking, but these are things that I didn't know when I got started, right? And these are things that I wasn't sure about, or you just don't know what you don't know. But is there some kind of magic potion? Yeah. The magic potion is doing all of these things all the time. And then that elixir is what then makes you become the guy, because now the coordinators love you. The venues love you. The bride loves you. The groom loves you. And then now when they go and search, hey, who is that guy at Rebecca's wedding? You know, I think it was barbecue something. It was Bearded Chef. It was Jose Metellus. It was Quanisha Ford. It was who's ever, you know, whatever catering company that you offer, Carter's Barbecue to you. It was somebody's, I can't think of it, but let me Google it and try to find it. And you know what'll suck is that they go to Google you and they can't find you. That's why you need your website. So there are a ton of things, guys, and I know I went through this here fairly quickly, but there are a ton of things here that I like to go over. Lastly, I offer, if you're still in here, the best way to continue and to move forward in your business is to keep your education, to keep your mind right, and to stay on top of things at all times. Know before your customer knows. Know what your customer is going to tell you before they do. Last but not least, guys, your email exchanges. Write this down. Please write this down. On every single quote that you send out, at the end of that quote, I want you to say, does this quote match what you need? And did I miss anything? Does this quote match what you need? And did I miss anything? This gives your customer the opportunity to say, you were too expensive, or you were whatever. It gives them, it's an indirect way to ask them, is there anything else that you are looking for that I can use that I need to be able to help you come with us? Is there anything else? Is this what you were looking for? Is this what you had positioned in your mind? Because the food or the pricing, did it match? And if not, don't be so quick to offer discounts. Don't be so quick to offer discounts. Just maneuver the menu. It ain't all about trying to get the cheapest deal. We ain't worried about that. Maneuver the menu. Every single email that you send, make sure you end with a question until that person is your customer. We are almost always booked all the time, even when you're not. So is it better to get food service certification before doing catering? Yes and no. I'm going to answer questions here in about the next 1 minute. So guys, literally that is the majority of what it takes. I know it was fast. I'm gonna do this again, probably one more time. And then from here, any other times that I'll be going live will be in our school group. Now, the school group is a platform that that other caterers and other professionals that are caterers come in, and then I go, and anytime that I have a thought about something and other caterers have a thought about something, what did I do today to help me close more deals or to help me get more events? I'm posting them in the group. I'm talking in the group, and I'm moving forward. Now, at the end of this here, guys, I'm glad you joined. Hopefully that if you want more and you think that, you know, Barbecue Daddy can be able to help you, I'm gonna ask you to join the group, to check out the school group. I'm gonna put it in the chat, and I'm putting in there. Just take a look at it, and then take a look at it and see what you think. All right. So outside of that here, that's it. Oh, what is it? If you haven't, then it's 39 bucks a month. It's month to month. All right. Now I'm here to answer whatever questions that you have. So wherever you have it in the chat, if you have questions, I know I went over a little bit, but sometimes I get a bit passionate about talking. So for the next 15 minutes, I'm taking whatever you got. So if you got something, throw it out there, just pop it in the chat and I'll ask it. Okay, is it better to get food service certification before you start catering? You can, but what I want to make sure that all of us do, guys, one second. I want to make sure that all of us do is that we don't get hung up trying to get so certified that we gather all of our nuts and berries before we get out there and get customers. The first thing that you want to do is find a way to get customers, because yeah, you can get food certified. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and if any of my customers are watching, sorry, but I was catering for a couple years before we got officially certified. I was cooking out of my kitchen for a little while, out of my house, before I got officially certified. Now this was way back in 2011 and whatnot. So you know, some stuff, as much stuff as we could cook on site, I was cooking on site. But don't use trying to get certified or trying to get all the things in order before you get started, because we get so hung up on that. I'm taking time to get my LLC. I'm taking time to do this. You don't have to do that all the time. Yes, Cornisha, raise it in the put your question in the chat.
Hey, first and foremost, great information. Thank you so much. I'm learning so much. So when it comes to tastings, I haven't had many customers ask for them, but I'm starting to find that more and more I'm starting to get people that are asking for them. And I kind of wanted to know how do you handle them? I heard you say that when you went to the bridal expos, you kind of did like a tasting of the full menu.
Right.
Could you elaborate a little bit on how you do that and how you handle tastings in general?
You got it. If I can ask for anyone else, I want to get to your questions for sure. Definitely, if you can pop them in the chat. But Cornisha, I got you. How do we handle tastings? All right, so I'm gonna kind of give you the long short story. The long short story is, in the very beginning, I was doing tastings for free, and don't do that, because I'm not telling you that's the way to do it, because I figured, well, here's an investment. I'm gonna go and I'll do it for free and I'll take it to their house. But right now, forget what I used to do. Here's what works. Here's what works. Make sure you set a limitation on the times that you can offer tasting. Make sure you don't do tasting on days that you don't feel like working necessarily. Let's say you take off Sundays. Don't do them on Sundays. Don't necessarily offer tastings on the weekend, because if you have a catering company and you're moving forward, you're probably busy on that time, and you don't want to waste anybody else's precious money and their time that they paid you to cook a meal for 5 people. So and you also want to give that meal your everything. So tastings, I would offer them during the week. This is just where it works for us. Also, you also want to charge for that menu. So whatever your highest package is, to where your customer can get at least 3 meats options, at least 3 sides, you know, and then maybe a couple appetizers. What would that look like if they purchased, you know, the menu for 50 people? How much is it per person? And then you charge that to your customer. For example, our highest package is like $125 a plate. That's a little bit different. So on my barbecue package, I have a package for 30 bucks, right? So, and that's 3 meats, 3 sides, and 3 meats, 3 sides, salad, and the app. You know, and that's just food only. That's not the service. That's not anything else. If you just want to come and you're only buying, if you just want to pick it up, it's 30 bucks for basically, I'm sorry, 2 meats. So you offer You don't do your whole menu. You let them choose up to 3 meats. Let them choose 3 sides. If they want to add more, they can, but it costs. Make sure that you charge for it, because we don't want to go into debt trying to do 10, 15, 16 different caterers. I mean, excuse me, 10, 15 different tastings. And so once your customer will also appreciate the fact that you're paying for it. Remember, when you add value behind your tastings, if you got value behind your setup and your presentation, is going to cost, and your customer is going to know that, hey, this establishment, of course, they're going to charge. How do I know what to charge? Again, hopefully you have your packages in order to what you have your where you have your guest. Excuse me. Hopefully you have your packages in order for when people want to come and order something from you. You charge your highest package, and then you times it by 4 or 5 people. I also know, unless you have a restaurant, most of the food that you're going to cook, you're gonna be buying it from Smart and Final or whatever, right? So charge for that. Whether it's a flat rate of $100, a flat rate of $150, charge for that. Okay, then what you do, if you don't have a set kitchen yet, the tastings are not about you so much necessarily. The tasting is literally about tasting the food. Don't worry about going to somebody's house. I'm telling you this from experience. Sitting down in front of them as they eat their food so you can go and make your pitch. Stop doing that if you're doing that. Don't worry about selling yourself at the tasting. No. If they've come to the point of tasting, they've already done a bunch of research on you. They've already read a few of your reviews. They've already gone through your website. They've already looked through your social media. And now you are in the top few of the finalists. Now they want to get a tasting. We like everything else. Let's just see what the food tastes like. That's all you got to do. Get your tasting together, put in the package, and if you have a kitchen, have them come and pick it up. If you don't have a mobile kitchen, or you only got a mobile kitchen, whatever it is, package it, make it look really, 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 really nice. Get a few bottled waters, whatever it is, and go deliver it. And you hand it off. You ask them if they have a few questions before you get started. And you leave them with their food. You give them the time to enjoy it, and then make sure you always add a little bit more. You give them time to enjoy it, and then you follow up in a day or 2 afterwards. Hey, what's the verdict? Did you like it? Did you love it? Because it can get really awkward if you're sitting there watching them eat their food. Get very awkward. And then they don't want to give you the everything. I'm telling you this from experience. All right. Yes, charge. Yes, good. Definitely you want to charge. Let them come to if you come to your location, let them come, let them go. All right, guys, we got 10 minutes. Give me your questions, throw it in the chat. I got you. All right, how do you usually invite them to one of our parties as my guest? How about I usually invite them to one of our parties? Yes, that's great. If you can invite them to one of your parties, if you have the opportunity to be able to host an event to where you can have one of your customers come out, I would be careful with that. I would be very careful with that, because I've done that before. And if you invite a stranger to somebody else's event and they don't know this fool, they'll be like, who is this? Oh, he's my guest. I invited him out because it doesn't work out too great. So all I'm saying is be careful with inviting a customer who wants to do a tasting to a private event. If it's open, it's great, no big deal. What else we got? Anyone else? If no one else, if no one else, then what I want you guys to do, again, like I said, these here, I love to be able to give the information. When I got started, we didn't have nothing. I mean, this was 13 years ago. Facebook was just coming around. There were no opportunities to listen, to hear, to be able to go and get the information like you guys are getting right now, right? I paid thousands of dollars to go and sit in a conference in Vegas, to go to Cater Source, to go to Wedding NBA, to go to events ensemble, to go and watch these different things and go and listen and sit in classes. So if you are not a part of the school group, of the opportunity that I've already set up, there is the same information that I'm giving, but broken down to all aspects of catering. Join the group. Quenisha, you have a question. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So, when it comes to plated meals with weddings,
Yep.
I heard you say that you have a vendor that you rent the dishes through.
Yep.
I've had a few brides that kind of wanted to go the route of like elegant disposable ware. That's kind of becoming popular. I don't know if you've seen that, but
Yep.
do you always recommend renting dishes, or how do you approach that with your customer?
The question is for the people over here, do we recommend renting dishes? And then a lot of customers also use disposables, like the formal disposable ware. As a caterer, guys, we have to start getting our own dishes. When it comes to the actual plating, the hard dinnerware, the china. Now, there's a plate. It's called a melamine plate. It's not officially glass. It's like a tempered glass. It's not heavy, and it's not. It's very lightweight and it's sturdy. A lot sturdier than glass. I would get those, invest into those that way, because when customers, and then what I do is I charge. Now I'm charging, if you want to get the actual dinnerware, the actual glass dinnerware, then it's $7 a person for the actual dinnerware. And this is just extra money that we have. I take them, you can put them in your garage, you can rent storage or whatever you want to do. Takes a second to wash. If you got kids, make sure your kids are washing them, or whatever it is. Get your folks to be able to. The tempered plate is called melamine. I think it's the way it's set. But also for the disposable dinnerware, those are great. Order them off of Amazon. Order them off of Amazon. And then you don't necessarily want to rent the dinnerware as much. If you need to, you can, but they get heavy. That's also money that you could be getting. Now, if you go and you charge your customer for that, for the most part in catering, guys, we get paid first, right? Take some of that money, go buy your own dinnerware, and eventually start stocking up on it a little bit at a time. Until you can do that, yes, rent them. Yes, rent them. But then the goal is to be able to own your own dinnerware, because other than washing it, that's your only other expense. And if you break anything, it's yours. You don't have to worry about paying 3 times the cost because you got it from a customer. For the glass, do you have any glass options? Now, for my customers, whatever kind of dinnerware that they want, we can get. See, the good thing about having a catering company is that we can accommodate to just about whatever you want, right? So if they have a special request, I have on my line, on my website, what we offer. I get on my site what we offer, but if they want something different, send it to me and I'll find it, whether it's from another rental company, or we need to buy it through Amazon or webstaurant.com, whether it's glasses, wine glasses, or whatever. I don't own a bunch of wine glasses, but what I do own is our own cutlery, our own dinnerware, as much as you can. For the glasses, do you have any options in cutlery? So, just find something that's basic. You know what I mean? Something that doesn't look old school, something that doesn't have a bunch of rivets in it, not something that's cheap. Something that's a good. So it's a brand called Nicole that I use. It's nice and sturdy. You just got to make sure you wash them right away, because they can get tarnished fairly good. All right. Outside of that, guys, reach out to me, because all of this here will be in notes, and then I'm going to send the updated. Not the updated, but I'm going to send the summary of everything that we talked about on what you need to do to book more weddings, and what you need to do to gather and attain more money by offering more services to your customer. Offering more services, because that's going to make everybody happy. All right. If we don't have any more questions, make sure you join me at school. Make sure you log on. $39 a month. Like I said, if you don't like it, if you don't feel like I'm giving you any good information, guys, I'll give you your freaking $39 back. But join me at school, because I go through this in detail with high-end events, with corporate events, with just about everything that you have. Will this Zoom be in the group? So this Zoom will only be available this Zoom that I'll be doing will literally only be available for my school customers here in 2 weeks. I'm gonna do this one more time. And then after that, any time that I go live, which I'll be going live every week, covering a subject in detail. So for example, in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna go and we're gonna dive in how to send the best email. I'll send emails I'm gonna send my email templates, emails that help, that close, that say the right things. A lot of times is this much separating you between you and another customer. So what do we need to do? And if you're still here, there's one more thing that I forgot to mention as far as the closing more customers. I'm sorry. Make sure you follow up with your customers right away. Immediately, as best you can. Don't forget your high horse, shoot him in the face. If you get a customer to come in and they send you an inquiry, if you have the availability to do so, stop and follow up with that customer, even if you're just picking up the phone to let them know, hey, I'll have your quote to you by the end of the day. It's going to take the smaller things consistently to be able to move forward and continue to book these customers and continue to not only book the customers. Again, we're not salesmen here, guys, but you do have the best option for your customer, and you got to know that. You got to know that you have the best option for your customer. Got to make sure you get to them first and continue to follow up with them. Until they say no, there's an opportunity for you to be able to close, for you to be able to get that option. All right, here we go. 2 more questions if we got them. Otherwise than that, I'm going to go eat. Anybody else? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. Hey, lastly, thank you for joining. Make sure that you follow me on school. Go to where is the school? Go to my page. Click on, if you're on Instagram, go to the page and go to the what do you call it? The link in bio. It'll take you right there. Go to the link in bio, fill it out, and then everything. Next week, in 2 weeks, I'll be diving deep on everything that helped us be able to get $2 million last year. Go look at the financials. A lot of people on here talking fluff. The good thing about folks who are, I'm not just here trying to sell it nothing, but we want to make sure that, I just feel like when you get to a point in your career that I feel like God is being able to bless me with the opportunity to be able to have a success. God's blessed me with the opportunity to go through all the different jobs that I had, to learn how to work the trade shows, to learn how to work the emails, the sales, and door to door, and all the different things. You know what I mean? It was all in this plan to be able to get to a position to where I'm able to now take all of the different things, put them together, and then put it together in a package and the thing that I love to do. And now that I've ascended and forget ascended, now that I've done well for myself, and then my floss or my flex is my staff. Sometimes, hey, we're small business. We have our times, we have our rough times, and just like anybody else, times are great. Sometimes times are not as great. But the staff that you have and the people that you employ, that's your flex. How many people do you have that can say that, hey, I work for Bearded Chef? How many folks do you have that can say, I work for Casey Catering, that can go and say that they built a lifestyle off of what the business that you have? That's your flex, is helping people. That's your flex. It's being able to help somebody else move there. And so now I'm taking the opportunity over the past year and a half to take all of the things that I messed up, all of the different things that I didn't know how to do in the beginning. I've spent a lot of money in refunds to be able to put it into a self-paced course, to give it to you, and then not for $1 million. It's a month to month. You don't like it, leave. It's all good. But try it out. I'm telling you. So otherwise than that, guys, feel free to email me, feel to reach out to me. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming. If you are interested in getting the notes from this session, please email me. Email me at the Cater Pro. That's THE Cater, CATER, PRO 3000 at Gmail. The Cater Pro 3000 at Gmail. I'm gonna leave it in the chat. If you stay here long enough, the Cater Pro 3000 at Gmail. The Cater Pro 3000 at Gmail. Email me and just say, hey, Terry, I want the notes from this here, and it's going to give you a full summary of what we talked about and all the different things. So outside of that, guys, love you, appreciate you, and y'all have a good rest of your evening. All right, especially big thanks to the guys on the East Coast. I'm out.